Thank you, Salam.
Nice.
I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Good. Why is it so important for your General Secretary to reiterate the point that if the NPP loses, they will give up power? Shouldn't that go without saying? We've been doing this since 1992. We changed over in 2000. Why should it be so important for him to make that point now?
Did he actually say that should the NPP loses?
No, he said they will give up power if they lose. That's the essence of what he said.
I have not heard my boss speak on this matter. However, what is important for all of us is that...
Will you want to hear him so you can put your comments in context?
Yes, if you play.
Okay, so this is your boss who was speaking earlier in the day. Kindly hear him.
Categorical state that we stand for. We believe the rule of, we are proud of the multi-party democracy that we have enjoyed since 1992. And as a political party, we will not canvass, we will not behave in any manner that will defeat the peace that we are enjoying in this country. That will throw this country into chaos. That is something that we, the NPP, will never do. But however, we also not be coerced into submitting that, one political party is so desperate that if they don't win, there will be mayhem in this country, so therefore we should hand over power to them. No, for that one, I will say it over again, that we are going to election, the will of the people will prevail. And when the will of the people prevails, that the NPP must win, no political party can subvert the sovereign will of the people. And we will stand and defend the rule of law and the peace in this country. That's the point I make.
So in essence, if what the will of the people is what they will abide by. If the will of the people say they've won, they've won. If they've lost, they've lost. And that's what it is.
Yeah, so Salam, that's why I said I don't think my boss have said that. It's good you have played it. In summary, what the General Secretary is saying is that some people have arrogated power to themselves, and they are well telling people that if they don't win the elections, the heavens will come down. And look, power is not automatic. It is not automatic that when it is 8 years, government leaves and another one comes. You come by your deeds and you come by your policies. So in simple, what we are saying is that if you don't win the elections, don't expect to be declared the winners. So if any wrong is done, to declare any person that is not with the sovereign will of the people, that did not win the elections on a clean slate, the NPP would not also allow it.
So how about if the election is fair, but some other party wins? Would the NPP give up power?
That's what I'm saying. The elections must be free. It must be fair, so that everybody will know that this political party has won the elections.
Very well. So
we are not going to sit aloof and then somebody will think that no, the power belongs to us. It's 8 years and it's not automatic.
Yeah. So very well. So just to be specific, is the NPP saying that if the election is fair and free, and the people say they've had enough of the NPP and so they vote them out, you will give up power? Is that what you are saying?
If it is the decision of the people, that so be it. So be it. Remember, we are the only political party that have not staged a coup in this country. We came by the term of the people. It's Okokromoti power, or how do you call it in Tree? Yes, so it is by the power of the term. So if it is by the power of the term, we are not going to resist anything. But we are very sure that victory will come our way.
I see. Let me speak to your other colleague on the other line, Mustapha Gbande. Okay, he's not here yet. But are you concerned, Haruna, that some people in the country, I mean general people, not politicians necessarily, think that comments from some leading members of your party, even including the president, about not wanting to hand over power to certain people, are you concerned that these statements might have poisoned the minds of people to think that the NPP won't give up power?
Salam, it will also depend upon those who are decoding what they are saying. If they are also polluting the minds and decoding it wrongly to the people, then it becomes a wild perception within the state of the country, and it also borders on insecurity. What I can remember is that President Akufo-Addo has not said that if somebody wins power legitimately, he will not hand over power to that person. He has not said so. He has repeatedly said so, that he will hand over power. but he is very sure that his political party will annex victory.
But what is winning legitimately? If the Electoral Commission declares you winners, that would have been legitimate, right? If the Electoral Commission also declares another party winners, that should also be legitimate, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that is it. That's why he's saying. You know, he's a human rights lawyer. Pick the constitution of our party. Pick the constitution of the NDC. Nobody constitution, none of the political parties' constitution will talk about losing political power. None of the constitution.
But it's a reality. It's a reality that you must face. It's a reality you must psych yourselves
so
up
when
to.
the reality comes and the verdict of the people is cast, we all abide by it. We accepted the fact that we lost in 2008. We gave up power. We accepted the responsibility that, yes, actually the verdict of the court in 2012 was the will of the people. We accepted the fact. We won victory in 2016, massively in the history of this country. We made an attempt in 2008 to break the 8. We could not. We have gone to do a revision of the work that we have done. And I think that we are going to go through the process as we have an affable candidate, a candidate who has been tested as a vice president, who has proven that he will be able to do more when given an opportunity. In the instance of assistance, he's done a lot of things. That is why we have presented somebody who is very affable, somebody who is presentable, somebody who understands the people, somebody who is a generational leader, somebody that can solve generational problems. That is why we have presented Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Very well.
We are not interested in illegitimate power. We are not.
That's good to hear.
Doesn't need illegitimate power.
That's very refreshing to hear. So
we will protect the legitimacy of every ballot in this country.
Great.
And we are going to do so by the wheels of the 1992 Constitution.
Super. Now, hang in there. Let me speak to your colleague, Mustapha Gbande. Hello, Mustapha. Welcome to Eyewitness News. So, you heard your colleague. He says they will hand over power if that is the will of the people. So what then is the worry that some members of your party think that this particular regime or government will not hand over power should the will of the people dictate so?
Well, thank you very much, and good evening to our cherished listeners. I think that the rank and file of the NDC is not really worried that there won't be handing over of power from the NPP to us if we have won that election. We believe that 2020 we slept on our rights, and so we have allowed them to go away with what they have done. Now the NDC is well fortified.
Wait. Go away with what? You went to court, and the court determined that no, you didn't win the election. So that's a closed book now.
If we had settled the matters at the polling stations, I'm sure that a court matter wouldn't have ensued.
Very well. So as far as we know, the polling station documents traveled to the top, and the top declared them winners. You went to court to test it, and that's settled now. Yes, that
is correct. So we went into the election, and so we are well informed about the things that have happened. I mean, the NPP General Secretary have made this pronouncement. There's no competition as to whether one would hand over power or not. We are not there yet. What we are asking is that let all political parties, including government, losing itself from the appetite of doing wrong, let us come to the table to help foster functionability or abilities of institutions of state so that they can discharge a transparent, credible election. Let us go to an election without violence. Let us go to an election knowing that we will give room for the will of the people to manifest. The contrary is what the NPP have been doing. The contrary is what this government have demonstrated for a few years. And they have shown that in spite of the fact that they came into power through election, they are no longer interested in going to the election. They are afraid of the polls. They are very much afraid that Ghanaians are going to queue on December 7th and would have to vote because they know deep down their heart that no Ghanaian would vote for the NPP because they have been abysmal. They are corrupt. The level of corruption we are exposed to in this government in the last 7.5 years, we've never seen it in this country. A group of people who believe that being in power is not about solving the Ghanaian problem. It's not about helping Ghanaians to live comfortably. It's about ripping Ghanaians off what they have. Pensioners are still living in pain. Bondholders are still living in pain. people who have established banks, people who work in the banks are still living in pain. People who have lost their companies as a result of abuse of political power demonstrated by this government, they are still living in pain. And so it is clear that both the president, the vice president, who is the flag bearer of the NPP today, and the other one they have added, including their party, is well afraid of going into a clean election. They are scared of Ghanaians going to vote. But by and large, we would have to go through that election because that is the only way we can change power in this country. If any other means was legitimate, this government would have been displaced long ago. There was no point wasting time on this government. This government is a tragedy to all Ghanaians. It's a pain, an affliction to every Ghanaian. It's a waste of the Ghanaian time for 8 years. And painfully, we cannot recover it. So they should humble themselves and come clean. As for losing election, it is just 4 months ahead. They will go home because this government will not, Ghanaians will not reward corruption. Ghanaians will not incentivize a syndicate of fraudsters who have defrauded this country and ripped them of what they do.
No, Mustapha, I'm not sure about those strong words though. But can you provide the assurance that the party will accept it if it goes to the polls and the people of Ghana decide that we do not want you yet? Would you accept that outcome as a true expression of the will of the people?
Before I answer that, I'm saying that when you tell Ghanaians that come and buy bonds, and they buy the bonds and you destroy their bonds, and you do haircut on the bonds, this is not fraud. It's fraud. Now, the NDC have always intimated and reiterated the fact that we are going into the polls with a clean hand. We are going into the polls with a belief that the Ghanaians will listen to everyone in order to vote. If it is the will of the people of Ghana that let's change the government, let's change for a better, then if we win, we will defend that victory to the letter, irrespective of what price we have to pay for it. If the NPP wins in the space that Ghanaians want to reward corruption, Ghanaians want to reward mismanagement, Ghanaians are happily living, then we have nothing to say. We'll admit and then respect the will of Ghanaians. But for anyone to try and rig the election, let me assure the NPP and the entire government machinery that no one will be a president of Ghana as a result of a rigged election in 2024 going forward. It will never happen in this country.
Very well.
If they think that rigging an election will produce a president in Ghana, an iota of it will not manifest. We will not allow it to happen. But in any day, if we go to a clean election, let the will of Ghanaians be respected. We are good to go.
All right, very well. So Mustapha, I mean, just on a different matter, the exhibition exercise is ongoing, will end soon. Your party wants to meet the EC, etc., etc. I'll ask Haruna the same too. What is your assessment of the process so far, now that it's coming to an end?
We have analyzed and identified huge, fundamental, primary discrepancies that borders on the credibility of the two registers, the one that the EC gave political parties and the one that they are using. A tip of the iceberg is a case where people's names in Tamale South, about some 34 people, have been transferred to Pusiga without those people consenting, without them ever walking to a registration center to say, I'm transferring my vote. And so we believe that these are administrative issues that can be dealt with. So we are tabling the matter before the Electoral Commission. The NPP silence is either because they are not doing their work, they have accepted that they are losing election, or they think that the discrepancies favor them. And so all of those issues will be ironed out in the emergency IPAC we have requisitioned, believing that reasonably, because the issues are so fundamental, the Electoral Commission will honor it and call for an emergency IPAC meetings where the NPP will be seated. All of us will have to deal with the issues. Otherwise, we believe that when the EC failed to provide provisional voter register to political parties on time, where it provided same behind the windows to the NPP to conduct profiling, fundamentally was illegal. It was wrong. It should never have happened, but yet it happened because we have an incompetent commission in place, a commission that has the appetite of not doing what is law, not doing what is by their commission, and not doing what reflects their mandate. But we are vigilant. we have the systems in place. We are more ready for the election because we are on the ground. Our fighting tactics are different from them who are satisfied and abusing power. And so we are waiting for the Electoral Commission to call on the meeting so that we can deal with the fundamental inaccuracies that we have identified.
I see. And that really is the essence of the exhibition, so that you identify these discrepancies and then you table them and discuss them and have them resolved.
Exactly. So that is why we are not even discussing details of the issue. In all fairness, we believe that the matters should be tabled to the Electoral Commission. I believe that the Electoral Commission will come to terms with the discoveries that have been made because they are so fundamental, they are so germane, the evidence is so clear that we can deal with those issues going forward. And so we are not worried at all. We are ready for the work.
I see. Thanks so much, Mustapha Gbande, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Let me conclude with you, Haruna. So, also noted in the discrepancies in the exhibition exercise that the EC has been undertaking.
Salam, thank you. I think that there are some few issues that I have to trash out before I respond to that. Salam, you all know that in this country, the NPP has always been the major political party that has contributed to reshaping the electoral process in Ghana. So we have filed candidates, or we have had candidates for all the 276 and have a presidential candidate and the running mate. And clearly tells you that we are ready for the election. As to whether the NPP is corrupt, we all know that there is only one gentleman in this country known as Government Official 1 who has been acclaimed internationally as a corrupt individual.
Who has been exonerated by the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Salam, you are a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I am not.
Yes, so the Office of the Special Prosecutor has exonerated him.
A competent court of jurisdiction passed a judgment on an individual who is known as Government Official 1. The first OSP identified him as Government Official 1, right? That is from a judgment of a court. An institution of state...
But, let me point this out to you. The judgment of the court, I mean, it was a deferred prosecution agreement, really.
But it was a judgment.
No, but before you pass judgment, you need to hear from the other people. He was not given an opportunity to respond. So we can't go... No, and the judgment was not... No, you see, we don't have to debate this. And this is not even the matter on the table. The matter, he was not called into the matter. Perhaps if he was called into it, his side of the issue would have been heard. The point is that they said there was a brother of his who was an intermediary. And the suspicion is that the commission that his brother got, some would have been wired to him. That was the suspicion. But the Office of the Special Prosecutor, which you set up, thankfully so, which is an institution of state, yes, which will have to investigate the matter before putting a docket together, says that it has found no linkage, and so it is unable to even put a docket together in the first place, finds no evidence to start with, which means that it cannot even go to court, because if it goes to court, it will fail. That's the essence of what the special prosecutor told us. So just be guided, yeah.
Salam, you are aware as a lawyer that there is one we call conflict of interest. The investigation you are cited that Government Official 1 and confirmed he's Government Official 1, and he had conflict of interest in the case. Right? The fifth individual you mentioned, Samuel Mahama, is his brother.
So will you want to proceed to Shraj to have that conflict of matter, dealt with?
So I'll proceed. You see, when you live in glass houses, you don't throw stones, because you have a corrupt individual who has been acclaimed internationally, who has been investigated as a vice president, right? And you come and tell us.
But Haruna, I don't want to banter with you, but anybody can investigate. I could be called an investigator today, but it could turn out that I've done nothing. But anybody could be investigated. So the point is, what would
he and his competitor has not been investigated.
The point is, what was the outcome of the investigation? Of course.
The outcome was that.
Nana Akufo-Addo, listen. Nana Akufo-Addo, I don't want to banter with you, Haruna. Nana Akufo-Addo could today.
I know you are doing your work.
Yeah, Nana Akufo-Addo. Yeah, so let me ask the question through. Let me put this point across. Nana Akufo-Addo today could say that because Dr. Bawumia has done ABC, he wants him investigated. He could decide to do so. But whether the outcome of the investigation will implicate him or incriminate him is another matter. You understand? So anybody could be investigated. So the fact that somebody is investigated doesn't mean that the person it's done something wrong necessarily. The investigation process should point to a certain direction. To perceive, yes. So that's a perception. But when the investigations came, the investigation said what? The investigation said there was no evidence.
The investigation said he's the government official one. What is the meaning of government official one in the world history?
You go ahead.
Somebody who, yes, in the world history, government official one has been somebody who has perpetuated acts of corruption, standing in and writing and taking bribes from a brother who is very close to him.
I don't know about that. So Haruna, we'll thank you. We'll thank you on this. We've run out of time. You decided to use your time. You decided to use your time to do government official one. Thank you so much, Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, for speaking to us on this. Now we move to